Everywhere you look today in America, you see some reminder of George Washington. Streets are named after George Washington. We have cities that are named after Washington. One of our 50 states is called Washington State. The beautiful Washington Monument, which was erected to honor President George Washington, is located in Washington, D.C., the capital of our United States. We can find President George Washington's picture on the $1 bill. Washington's picture is also on the quarter. President Washington's image was also carved on a mountain. This is Mount Rushmore. George was born on February the 22nd, 1732, to Augustine Washington and his second wife. This is George's father. George lived a good life for most of the time when he was growing up. There is even a legend that says that he cut down a cherry tree, and when his father asked who did it, George owned up to it and said, "I cannot tell a lie." Of course, a legend may or may not be true, but this goes to show George's character was a good one. When George turned 11, his father died. George was sent to live with his half-brother Lawrence. His mother was not up to the task of raising him. George learned many things while living with Lawrence. His brother was in the militia. The military then became part of George's life. Lawrence owned a plantation. George learned the secrets of being a good farmer by helping him. George had once threatened to run away to the sea. Instead, he studied to become a surveyor. He wanted to help the colonists open up a new frontier. He helped mark property lines for new farms and roads. George became a soldier during the French and Indian War. He proved himself a leader in the British Army. When Lawrence died suddenly, George left the military to take over his brother's plantation. Mount Vernon became the focus of his life. He married Martha Custis and became a gentleman farmer. George became involved in local politics and won a seat in the Virginia House of Burgesses. The colonists were feeling the sting of King George's taxes. They did not like being taxed without having a say in what was going on. If the king needed money, he needed to find somewhere else to get it. Talking and boycotts were not going to change the king's mind. It was time to fight. George Washington was asked to take charge of the unorganized local militias. He turned them into an army strong enough to fight the awesome British force. He was named Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. He led the army through 5 years of battles. He was present for the surrender of the British Army at Yorktown in 1781. Washington's plan was to retire to his home at Mount Vernon after the Revolutionary War. This plan was short-lived. In 1789, the Congress of the Nation needed a leader to pull all the parts together. George Washington was the man they chose to be the first president of the United States. He again accepted the role of leader. George and Martha spent the next 8 years in New York City, the first American capital. He helped Congress and the people set up a foundation for the government that is still standing today. George Washington is just one of the many men who dedicated their lives to building a new country. This new country would hear every person's voice. George Washington believed in freedom and equality. He believed in doing his part to earn those freedoms.